Hi, it's Carol, the Freelance Catalyst, and this video is hopefully the first of many, and it was prompted by two things this week. So one was that I delivered a couple of sessions where the same tip or hint or idea received a lot of positive feedback and people talking about how transformative it was and how useful it was. And the second was that I was encouraged to share something which is seasonal. So I'm thinking about the season. It is the beginning of March, which makes it springtime. It's also just after the start of Lent. Now, even if Lent doesn't feature in your faith practice, it kind of is an interesting, I think, a useful time of year. It's traditionally a time of reflection. Actually, traditionally, growing up in Ireland, it was a time for giving up chocolate. But in reality, for me now as an adult, Lent is a time for deliberate reflection. And what's nice about that is it's time bound. It's a specific length of time with a start and a finish. You take a single practice, which, as I say, as a child was giving up chocolate and now is often deliberately doing something, and you challenge yourself to do it consistently for 40 days. And even though Ash Wednesday is a couple of days past, actually, Lent being a funny thing, there's slightly more than 40 days because Sundays aren't counted apparently. So there's still 40 days to go, or just about, until Easter Sunday, which is the 15th of April. So here's my Lenten challenge for anyone who's looking for something to focus on that might be actually surprisingly transformative. And really, it's about how to stop pushing ourselves around, how to do what it is that we want to do, need to do, have to do, with greater energy and greater joy. Because most of us, actually I'd argue all of us, don't like being pushed around. We don't like being told what we must do, have to do, whether that's parents, bosses, friends. The problem is, I spend an enormous amount of time telling ourselves what we have to do. We use that phrase reflexively, without any intent or meaning. So your day is a list and it's full of have to's. I have to get dressed, I have to get up, I have to get ready, I have to get the kids out, I have to get to work, I have to get that report done, I have to make a cup of tea, I have to take a break, I have to exercise. We use it like a verbal lubricant. It just slips out. The problem is that it has meaning. At a subconscious level, we hear that as coercion, we hear it as pressure, and we resist. So here's the challenge. Can we trick our brains into thinking that we're on a want-to course simply by changing the word? And experience of a lifetime of my own, and feedback from many, many people, and research from far more qualified psychologists than I show that we can. And the trick is you swap the phrase have to for want to. We could go into the psychology of why it works. We don't even need to. Listen for a moment. My list today, for example, if I was in a have to mode, which I was for many years, my list would have sounded something like have to get up in time to prep the session, have to get the song lyrics written out for the kids, have to be up at the church in time to set up the hall, have to be home in time to go cycling with the kids because he really wants to test they're on the ride to school, have to pick up the groceries in between. You know, that's what I need to do on Sunday, today. But here's how that list actually sounds in my head now. I want to be up in time to prep the work. I want to get the song lyrics written out for the kids. I want to be at the hall in time to get set up. I want to get home in time to take the ride to school because they want to test the ride. And I want to stop at the shops to pick up the groceries on the way. It's the same list of tasks, but it feels completely different. The energy is completely different. It's like taking the handbrake off when you're driving. So that's the challenge. Don't overthink it. Don't argue with yourself too much. Do I really want to pay my taxes? Do I really want to go to work? Simply change the word and see what happens. Switch your have to's for want to's, and then you get to do what you want to do 24/7, 365 days a year. And I'd love feedback. As I say, I shared this a couple of times recently and people got really excited about the change that it made for them personally. It's always really affirming for me to hear if people find it useful or if you don't. And also, this is the first time I've shared publicly on video, so I'd love feedback on that too. Is this a useful way to connect? Do you find it helpful? So it's Carol. You're moving from a have to a want to for the 40 days from now until Easter, and I hopefully look forward to seeing you back here for the next video.